Okay, so I'll kick you off into it because we already chatted about it before. It's a pity we chatted about it before the podcast, but I think we can say something about it.
I can't remember, so it'll be like the
good.
first time for me.
Good. Okay, so this week was the first week in about 2 years that I have been on a project where I was part of the creative direction of the actual look and feel of the product. It's an app.
You were directing visual design.
I was directing
that's
visual
not something
design.
you usually do.
No,
but you were doing it.
Very rarely. That's how I started. That's how I got into the industry. But most of the time,
So you know how to do it, but
Yes.
you're old fashioned. Your taste is out of date.
I
right?
hadn't been using the tools in a while as well. Like I hadn't used Figma, and it's the whatever. I felt like I was really out of touch, but it was really, really enjoyable. And the last time when I had been working on products was back in the days when there was this huge argument between skeuomorphic and flat design. I don't know if you remember
Back in the days,
Back
so
in the
long
day,
ago.
it was like a year and a half ago, but still,
It's like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, exactly.
2 years ago. 3 years ago.
Well, the conversation went on for about 2 years because it was Microsoft with their flat design, iOS, Apple with their super skeuomorphic, meaning that the things look like real life things like leather or whatever. And there was this war between designers. Oh, God, I was never part of that conversation, by the way. I always found it really dumb, but it was probably what moved me away from wanting to be a visual designer. But this conversation went on for maybe 2 years, and people were discussing things all the time. Should it look like this? Should it look like this? And, flat is the way to go, and skeuomorphic is the way to go, and minimalism and whatever. And now I've come back to the design world, and it's just after being solved. It's done. Like, there's no discussion about this anymore. Basically, Google made material design, and now everything looks like that on every platform. So the basic look and feel of design today in UI design is it's mostly flat, but it has a couple of elements which are raised from the whatever surface they're on and have a little bit of a shadow, like the App Store on iOS, or like Coinbase. You have these cards that are floating somehow. They have a little bit of a shadow behind them. Coinbase. And everything else. I know, Bitcoin.
Millennials with your Bitcoins.
Man, I'm making some good cash on that Bitcoins.
There's an interesting thing that like a little thread in there that's kind of fun is how Microsoft was that. You're right. There was that moment when Microsoft had gone super flat.
They were relevant,
and Apple hadn't. And actually, this is so classic Apple. Somebody else does the thing first, and then Apple's like, actually gonna own that and do it our way even better. And now we get the credit, and everybody looks to us. And they did. You're right. They weren't necessarily the first to do flat design. They did it really well on a really big platform in a really big way. Made a big switch. And not everything has.
Apple never went fully flat. You're going crazy. They always had like
really?
Never. They always had like for example, if you think about Notification Center, it had a drop shadow. There was still they went very flat.
You're more into the design. You're going like a few levels deeper than I am. I'm just like the icons got flat.
Yeah, exactly. You're like the icons got flat. Apple done.
I just want leather. I just want a leather texture. Is it so much to ask for my phone to have leather on it? Come on.
I know.